Hello and welcome everyone. I wanted to do a brief demonstration of our AE green and ether green bubble wash unit. Now, I started on one of these yesterday and I was like, you should probably officially go ahead and do like a video in the lab. Let's discuss what this bubble wash unit can do, why it's different than other ones. Let's do the upgrades together. So today, well, this evening, we're gonna go over the stainless steel AE or ether green unit. This is a bubble wash unit for our cannabis flower or hemp material. This can also be used for other herbs if you want to go ahead and try those. I personally use it for my cannabis and my hemp products when I'm bubble washing to make hash rosins and pressing that product. I do use the ether green bubble wash unit and then press in the low temp industries heat press. Absolutely love that unit. Um, so you will see a couple different things around the lab. You'll see different brands. This is going to be national and statewide here in Missouri. My name is Billy Joe. I have been an extractor for a few years now in the industry. I've grown and have been messing with this plant for years and years. So, as somebody that likes to tinker, I always like to share some nerd fun with you guys. So, again, we're going to go over the AE Green unit. This is an all-in-one. This is going to be an automatic bubble wash unit. This does come with a set of buckets. It does come with the Mylar mesh screens. This is going to allow us to separate and sift all of our materials and our trichome sizes into different sections, right? So that we can be very specific about how we want to blend or I would say manipulate our concentrates. So you're going to see our funnels for being able to stretch over our bags. I do have the older unit that is up on the top shelf here. And then I have the newer parts and pieces down here. So we're going to change over some things. I'm going to go ahead and pull out um, one of, some of the things that are on here so we can go over this together. So on these units, you're going to have top, which is going to have your motor. It's going to allow for you to adjust and to handle the paddle and the different variables it allows you to kind of adjust during the bubble wash process. We are going to be upgrading this part of the unit. So I'm going to take this. The wonderful part of the AE green units too is they make this super friendly for us working in the lab. So if you have a flat surface, you can sit it aside upside down. It's wonderful by itself. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the new paddle setup. I do also have the new motor that was sent in. Now, there are a couple things. I do have a seal that's going to be here at the bottom that's going to go underneath. You're going to have the new paddle that'll mount here at the top, and you're going to put in 2 bolts with a Allen wrench, and that's going to allow those to be tightened down. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Just that way we have all of our stuff kind of together, and I can show off that. One of the differences also that I like to discuss, let me take this out of here because I did put it in there already just for simplicity purposes. This unit is very light, by the way, so you can pick it up with one hand. This is not something that you have to have a gentleman around or a second person around for. This new upgrade to the unit, you'll notice that this is a stainless steel, easy to wipe out, easy to sanitize kind of thing. It does have 2 handles on either side that allows you to be able to carry it, move it around pretty easily. So one of the old parts that goes to this unit is one of the big bags for your material for saturation, things like that. Okay. One of the upgrades is the bottomless bag. So I have all the cables that for the old unit inside. So this is the older bag that we would put all that material in. Instead of using that, which I guess I could show you. So this bag would drop right into the center of the unit. You would pull this over the top so that that material wasn't sinking all the way down to the bottom, but so that that bag was smooth. It wasn't getting caught up in the agitation cycle of, the process. Instead of using that bag and instead of beating up our material as much, We now have just a flat bottom that allows us to have a completely open, I would say, washer area, right? The only part of this process that's going to have something come in contact with the flower is going to be the plunger or the paddle itself. So I'm going to put this at the very bottom. This is going to allow for material to just sit there. That cone at the bottom is going to allow all that material to settle when we're trying to get the trichomes. This hose at the bottom is something that we're going to replace. This one's plastic, and the new upgraded part is stainless steel. We got some good valve material and some good clamps on there, so we are going to exchange that over. I do have, again, the inside is already taken care of, so let's go ahead and replace our downspout, or what would be our release for all of our water and our trichome solution. So I'm going to pull this up on the table. We're going to get that lined up because we never want to cross thread. We just want to make sure that that's a smooth screw on or tighten up process, right? We're going to go until it's finger tight. You might go a little past finger tight, just that way. But if you're cranking it, that means we're going to be pressing that metal, possibly shredding metal or having debris. We don't want that. So we always want to make sure that we're just barely over hand tightening. So got that on good. So one of the things you're going to notice instantly is that we have a nice valve. Okay. This one at the top is only going to go one way. You're going to open it at a 90-degree angle. I need to tighten that just a hair more here. Go through and tighten up all of our clamps just to be safe. I noticed that turn just a little. So we're going to go through, just be cautious. There we go. All right. So we got that tightened back up. Apologize about that. Just want to make sure that I'm not like turning on something and you're like, well, that wasn't efficient. All right. So we got our valve. We're just going to have one way. Now it does stop closing because it does have a blocker. Okay. So when I'm explaining this to a new technician, I always try to say inline, you know that water is going to flow out of there. If you have it 90-degree angle turn, that means that we're blocked off in that line and nothing's going to be able to pass, right? Think of it as something that blocked that hose and that waterway, but as soon as you put it back in line, everything can flow. Okay. So we're going to keep it closed off unless we're in the middle of a process. I don't want anything flowing through there. So let's get our Allen wrenches and our little bolts here. We're going to upgrade our paddle inside. We got two little washers. We got our Allen wrenches, two little bolts. Make sure which Allen wrenches fit that. That one's going to be the bigger one. All right. We got the right bolt size here. So I'm going to do this over here just to be safe. That way I'm doing it on a surface. So I want to put the washer on the back side. And then we're going to put our bolt through. Oh, got one still in my hand, so let's try that again. Let's put one through on the nut. Let's put it through. There we go. All right, so we're on here. We're going to finger tighten. That way we know that we're good. And then we'll use our Allen wrench. That we're not over tightening, okay? So we're just barely finger tight here. Here, grab our other one. Put our washer on. The nut. Let's put it in here. Line it up into our post. All right. So we got both of them tightened down, finger tight. We are lined up. Now we just want to make sure that we tighten down with our little Allen wrench so that we don't have any issues later. Something coming loose right in the middle of a wash would be absolutely terrible. So that one hits at the bottom, so we're just going to turn that and use it like a little T-handle. Then we're going to take it one more time. Again, just barely tighten. If you start seeing your knuckles turn white, you're getting too tight, right? You just want a smidgen. All right, so we are all set. We got our new paddle. Again, let's take a look and see what the difference is between this old paddle and the new one. All right, so we got the old paddle, which is going to have a lot more holes, but bigger in diameter as far as like overall, right? But we have two large holes in the new ones and then smaller ones. Honestly, I'm going to say I absolutely love the fact that you have bigger holes because you're not trying to uh, beat the heck out of the flower. You're just really trying to get it to swirl that water, which is originally what we're trying to do. We're just trying to agitate that bud within the cold water so that we're knocking off those trichomes, right? So we got it updated on and tight. You can see that our seal's in there, which is great. I want to make sure that we seed it though so it doesn't fall out on us before we put it on the machine. You'll just run your finger around, make sure that it's good. We are drop down our unit here. All right. So again, we got our AE green unit. We got the new bottom flow on with our valve, everything stainless steel, no more plastic. We got our new motor. We got our new paddle. Everything's inside. I'm going to go ahead and put our old parts and our Allen wrenches to the side so we don't lose track of those. I always want to make sure we keep our old parts just in case something comes about and we need them. All right, so let's take a gander at some of these electronic pieces so that I can tell you and show you what these units exactly have. All right, we got a power cable and our power box. Then we have our foot pedal. All right, so the foot pedal is going to go with the bottom part of our unit. Okay, let's just focus on the top part for right now, and then we will go into the bottom part because I don't want to get too crazy into that. So the top of this, we're going to have two things. We're going to have the top charger, and this is just going to plug right into the bottom of the rail. So I have both of these. Again, this is just going to plug together to make sure that we have enough power draw. Just had to take that out of the box, get them undone. Again, haven't used this yet, so you're unboxing with me. We have, let's just not even plug it. Not right this moment. Okay. I'm going to plug that into the box. Now I'm going to turn this around because I do want to show you. Okay. The back part of this is going to have a port. This allows us, this top pony is going to plug in to give us power into the motor, right? But if we plug this in to here, where's the power coming from? We have to have the original power cable going into the back leg. This is going to power up the entire unit or energize, right? So that then this cable works so that we can plug it into the top, and then that energizes and powers the top motor. So it's an amazing way that this plugs in. You don't have a lot of running cables all over. You don't have to worry about one dragging across the unit. You'll unplug when you go to take off the top. You can sit it upside down and then plug it right back in. It's super convenient. So again, that's at the bottom back rail. We're going to flip that back around. We're going to take this. I just want to show you. So again, this unit is super easy. You could hold this with one hand. We're going to take this cable. This is going to plug into the bottom leg. Just inserts. Put it back up on our table here. Pull our cable back through. And I'm going to plug this in now that all the cables are connected. Our battery pack turned green, so we know we're good. Pick up some of this packaging material and get this out of the way. All right, so still got our pony in the back that we haven't connected, right? So we're gonna go ahead and connect our pigtail so we can get some power. And you'll notice that the top of the unit did go ahead and energize. Now this is gonna tell us what our temperature is. This is gonna tell us what our speed is when we're rotating. It's going to allow us to adjust the light so that we can peek inside to be able to see that material during the process. And then it's going to allow you to adjust all of these settings. You're going to be able to turn on and off the noise. You're going to be able to adjust each one of your washes. So if you want to do an automatic wash, you can let that pre-program. You can do your first, second, and third wash. It is going to show you at the top what that is. In here right now, just to give you an idea, it does show that it's, let's see, 73 degrees inside of the unit. It's kind of fluctuating. Again, definitely not the environment for us to be bubble washing in. I definitely want to keep that, let's say, yeah, 20s to 40s if I can, ideally keep it at that parameter. So we are a little warm in here, but we're not processing, so that's okay. But so we got everything ready to rock. I am going to go ahead and just unplug that. That way we can unplug the back rail, and then I'll unplug this from the wall. I do want to be able to show you these bubble wash bags and the bottom part of this unit and how this works. So I'm going to scoot these back. We're going to scoot that over, and we're going to go over the new pieces and parts that came in. All right. So we have our new bottom bucket. I don't know how many people have used an Aether green bucket, but I have to say these things are golden, okay? You're going to have your insulator wrap on the outside, which is always branded. I love showing this thing off, so thank you for giving a smooth, clean logo here. I absolutely desire this, like really professional. You're going to have the most important part of this bottom bucket, other than this beautiful wrap, is going to be the motor that's at the bottom. So once we get so much water in there, you're going to have the pedal that this machine comes with. This is going to allow us to, as we're filling up the water and it's filtering from the main unit, okay, it's going to start filling up this bag or this bucket. Once we get full, instead of most of us having to pick up that 5-gallon bucket and try to pour it into the bubble wash unit and to recycle that water, is really just a pain in the butt. You end up losing a bunch of water. Let's say you just want to take this bucket out and you want to drain the water and you don't want to reuse it in a wash. This makes it super easy. You're going to have a wand on the side. You're going to hit the foot pedal, and you're just going to be able to hit on or off to control your flow also with the release. But this is going to drain the bucket. Inside of the bucket, you're going to notice that you also have a little filter catcher. Super nice and handy when you're messing with these. Just in case something drops into that bucket, it is really nice to be able to have a little metal screen or something to be able to catch that debris. Again, you can tell just sitting around. This was even in plastic. It just had a little debris from shipping, probably cardboard that got inside. So always nice to be able to keep that from going into the motor and the pump on the bottom side of that bucket. We're just going to be able to hang that wand right on the side. It's going to catch it. So we keep that underneath the unit, right? Preferably facing out to where you can get both branded front and backs. You're going to have this plugged in, and this does go right into the bottom side of the motor, so it's very low profile also. I usually keep, again, this plugged into the top of the counter side, the bottom part plugged in under the wall or running across where it's at a lower outlet. You're going to have the new upgraded bags that come with the Aether green. You're going to have a couple of things that come inside of their pouch also. They do the Rosin Evolution press pouches. They're going to send some of the amazing little stickers. I am a huge fan of the AE green stickers. They do the metal rosin cards, the Evolution cards. We got the Rosin Evolution metallic stickers, and then we have the dope dinosaur sticker that is the original Aether green graphic, which I'm a huge fan of. I show that thing off all the time. Okay, so I'm gonna set those aside. Let's go over the bags. These are a little bit different than the ones that you're gonna see over here on the older bucket that I have. That is from, whoa, please don't quote me on this, but I'm gonna say we're going on 2 years of having this unit, so it has been a hot minute. The newer pouches are absolutely beautiful. I am such a fan. I was looking at them, but I didn't want to take them out too far because I didn't want to go ruining the unboxing with you guys. So I'm excited to fit these on to some of the rings and see what we look like here. Oh, look how slick that is. That is beautiful. Okay, so we are low profile. Instead of having the big numbers with the black rings, we have the small little khaki colored tag, which is super low profile. We have the Mylar that goes all, or the mesh that'll go all the way up to the top. Unlike the older bags where the Mylar or the mesh would only go, I would say, I don't know, yeah, like 3 or 4 inches that goes around the top. So it's a little bit different, but I do like how slick and clean this is. I do like the fact that it's probably easier to clean if I had to guess. I know that the other one's kind of stained with the seams. And yeah, they're black, but you could still tell that like things would collect. So super stoked about that. Also, one of the differences that you're going to notice in these bags is that we do have different colors. So instead of having the black just to identify, you have the, let's see here, we got orange, we have yellow, blue, purple. Oh, we have a green in here. We have the white and the black that's on there. So we have quite a few bags and one of my favorite things. Okay, when you're pressing and you have all these trichomes that are wet, one of the most wonderful things to do is to be able to have a tray or something sat down and that you can sit this on, but have paper towels or something that'll absorb moisture underneath before you put it into your freeze dryer. Okay, so one of my favorite things that they sell that is a 15 micron little square that allows you to tap out all of your stuff to allow that moisture to seep out of it before you put it into your harvest right or your freeze dryer, and then when you press it into your low temp heat press. So thank you so much for sending one of these. Absolutely love it. That is a huge blessing, and I could not be more thankful. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let's set these aside. Let's go ahead and build up our bag. So we're going to do it backwards just because that's how it is right now on what we got rocking. So we got 220 in there now. Let's put in our 190. Once you put it on, you're just going to clamp that just like a drawstring on your sweater. You're going to tighten it down so it can't come off. Push it down so we're on there. So we got the 220 and the 190. And then we're just going to keep it going and get them all on there. Teamwork makes the dream work. Sometimes that's just both hands. All right, so we got the purple. You can definitely tell that we're getting down finer in size because our material is getting softer and softer to handle as we're putting those in there. So what number are we on now? I bet we're in the hundreds, 120. Much better, much better. What are we at here? We got a 90. Listen, we might actually have to take out some of our old rings or some of our old bags so that we have a couple more. It looks like our new set has a few extra bags, which I was not prepared for. Totally okay. Again, industry pivot. So we'll put that bag in there. We're gonna put our next round on. We're gonna tighten up. We're at a 90 for our green. Stack those. We got 2 more, so I need to do 1 more from the old setup. So the good thing about having all these extra rings too, I don't know if you guys noticed, so I have 3 extra ones, and one of the pluses of having an extra 1 or 2 of these screens is that you're not going to clog as much, which I know is one of the things that they rave about in the new system, is not having to clog as much. So I'm sure having the extra layer of the bag is going to help with that. Also, I have an extra 3 rings. So let's say that one is really clogging up. Really, I would just, as somebody that experiments with this, I will try it and let you know. But I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say that if one area is getting hard to process with, I can probably use one of those extra rings and drop it down. And that's going to help tremendously. This is a 45 and a 25. Look at you guys. Thinking ahead, even for the teeny tiny. I love it. All right, so I'm going to tighten this up. And then we'll go over all of the sizes. We got one more to go in. We're going to steal one more, which means we have only 2 extra rings, not 3. And all right, so we have black, white, purple, blue, green, yellow, orange. And our last 25, or no, our last, yes, 25 is going to be like a burnt orange instead of like a sunset orange. So it is still a different color. All right, so let's, just to be safe, we're going to pull this out of here. Might have to lift up our unit a little bit before we run something. But let's take a look at all these colors. Just to be safe, we can go over all of our sizes together with everybody. All right. What are you sitting at? Yep. All right, so we got the black, white, the purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, and like a burnt orange, almost red. So heck yeah, we were rocking a bunch of different filtrations. Let's check the sizes: 25, 45, 73, 90, 120, 160, 190, and 220. So our Aether Green update comes with 3 extra filter bags. We're going to come with colored rings to make that easier to identify, baby tags. The material makes that much easier to clean. I'm stoked about that. Our downspout's going to be more efficient and effective, being able to clean. We are ready to rock and ready to process. So this is our Aether Green unit, AE Green unit, depending on which one, however you want to clarify. We are going to take ice. We're going to take water. We're going to fill up this unit. We're going to put flour inside. We're going to bubble wash. Depending on your parameters and your method, you're going to run that. You're going to put those trichomes you collect into the Harvest Right freeze dryer or a freeze dryer. You're going to then, after 24 to 72 hours, you're going to press, hopefully using the rosin evolution bags and products and the low temp industry products, and you're going to process your own rosin into beautiful, beautiful consumption yumminess. So if anybody has any questions, jump on in, follow Billy Extracts, jump in, ask some questions. I am always here to help or to, find out answers if I don't already know them. So thanks for joining us. If you have anything to add or would like to see another video, let me know. Have a good evening.